In this lesson, we're going to be recording percussion parts. But the lesson itself isn't really about recording percussion parts. It's more about how we're going to be recording the percussion parts. And we're going to be doing it using our mouse and programming the percussion parts into the piano roll. So if you don't know what I mean by that, I'll show you right now. First of all, I'm going to create a MIDI track. So I'll go up here to create and insert MIDI track. So now we have a MIDI track here. And then we're just going to take an impulse like we used in the previous tutorial. Let's go to the presets and take a listen. So just make sure that the preview button here is switched on. And let's just click on each of the presets and take a look or take a listen to what they sound like. Just turn up the volume here. Let's do that again. Okay, so we want to be recording percussion parts, so this kit isn't really suitable for that. That's a drum kit. So let's take a listen to some of the others. And one thing I actually like to do when doing something like this is I'll push play on the part that we just created. And then when we're listening back, we can hear the preset in relation to what we've recorded, because it's going to be playing together anyway. Okay, let's do this. Switch on the preview button. Okay, we don't want to use that one. Oh, I like this one. So I'm going to just put it onto the interesting sounds tab. So I'm right clicking and pushing the orange tag. So we'll find it up here. Let's see what this one sounds like. Ooh, I like that too. Put that in there. That's too standard. Whoa, too heavy. No. Oh, that's one of mine. That's the kit. No. Too standard. Again, too standard. Too drum-like. Too drum-like. It's okay, but not that good. So let me just switch this off. See this button right here? It's clip stop button. So if I just click that, it'll stop. And obviously I can click here too. Let's go up to the interesting sounds collection right here, and we can see the two sounds that we liked most. So let's listen back. Let's listen to this one. Going to switch on another beat. Let's listen. Okay, so I'm going to choose the Blue Thunder kit, mainly because it's more background sounding. The Brain Freeze kit is pretty in your face, and the beat that we've created is very much in your face anyway. So let's drag that over onto our MIDI track. Now here you can see here's an impulse drum sampler right here. And now there's other stuff that wasn't there before. And that is because this is actually something that is interesting to show you. Let me go back to Instruments, Impulse. You can see there are two different icons here. We have this type of icon, which is a pure impulse drum sampler. And then we have this icon right here. And you can see there's this line down the middle. And what that means is that this is an instrument rack, like the one that we just created in a previous tutorial. So here we have the impulse, and it's encapsulated in a rack. So if you remember before, in the initial tutorial when we recorded our beat, we used the computer keyboard to input our sounds, and we did it in a finger drumming style. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a MIDI clip just by going to our new track here, Blue Thunder Kit. And we're just going to double click in this clip slot right here, and it will automatically create a MIDI clip. Now, as we're going to be programming this, I'm just going to drag this up so we have lots of space. And you can see here we have the sounds, again, that are the sounds in the impulse. So if I just go back and double click on the clip, it opens up the MIDI note editor. Make sure that the preview button is on. And now let's just go through the sounds. So what I'd suggest we do is we just record parts for each of the scenes that we created. The intro, the verse, chorus, breakdown, and outro. I'm just going to push play on the intro drum beat that we created in the last tutorials. I'm just going to double click on the new clip. So first of all, what we need to do is think about how long we want this part to be. 1 bar, 2 bars, 4 bars. Let's take a look at how long this clip is. And we'll do that by double clicking on the clip. And then if we go down here, we can see the length of our loop. And it says 4 here, which basically means 4 bars. And you can see it right up here. This is bar 1. Then here's the 2 to 3 is bar 2, bar 3, and bar 4. So we have a 4 bar loop here. I think I'm just going to make a 2 bar loop with the Blue Thunder kit. So all we need to do is go down to the length button here, and I'm just double clicking on it and typing in 2. And now you can see this, the length of this is 2 bars. And a good way of seeing this as well is you can see there's different shades of gray here. Each of these different shades is 1 beat. So this is beat 1 of bar 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, and then bar 2 starts here, beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, and there are 4 lines within each, a grid of 4, and that is because this grid is on 16th notes. Let's just put this back on again and just start experimenting. So let's see what sound we'll take first. HHC sounds pretty cool. Okay. Like I said, each of these small grids is worth a 16th note. So I'm going to put a 16th note on beat 2 and 2 and on the second 16th note of beat 3. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, I think that works for now. Don't want to make things too complicated. Now let's stop this scene. Let's stop this clip by pushing the stop button right here for this track. And let's go to the second beat, the verse beat. Oh yeah, one thing that I noticed when listening back to this beat after I stopped recording is I find the drums to be just a little too in your face at this point in the game. And a good way of getting around that is it's basically coming from this drum bus. And I'll show you why if I push play and I just switch off the drum bus effect. You'll hear it is a lot quieter. Let me switch it back on. Yeah, it's very harsh with the drum bus effect on. So I can just go down here to the bottom right hand corner. We have a dry wet setting. And this is on 100%. That means that the sounds coming from the impulse are going through this 100%. So I'm going to take this down to, let's try 35. So that means only a little bit of the signal is going through this and the rest is the dry signal. Let me switch it on again and push play. Okay, that's better. It doesn't sound quite so harsh. This is without the drum bus. And this is with it on. Maybe a little less. Put on 25. Yeah, that's better. So now I'm going to double click again in here and create another clip. And let's see how long this is. Still 4 bars. let's make this, let's just leave it at 1 bar for now. And if we want to extend it, we can still extend it at a later point. So push play again. Double click on this clip so it's selected. What I'm basically doing right now is just playing around by clicking in this preview sound thing and trying to come up with a pattern that might be interesting. Actually, I think I'm going to make this 4 bars. And again, I can go up here and use the magnifying glass to sort of zoom in. So let's zoom into bar 1 first of all. Here we go. And where's the sound? Oh yeah, so this is a good point to actually make right now. We're on 16th notes, and you know, we probably want to shift this grid up and down depending on what type of note we want. We might want to put in triplets, for instance, or 30-second notes. And that won't work because if I click in here right now with this 16th note grid on, we're always going to be getting 16th notes. Like this. Okay, so let me just get rid of this. And now I'm going to show you some shortcuts that you'll probably use all the time. Like I said, this is on 16th notes right now. I can change that by holding down the command key. And when I push 1, you can see down here in the right hand corner, we've now gone to a 30-second note grid. And if I push it again, it's 64th. So it's continuously doubling the subdivision. And this can go on for quite a while. And if I do the same thing by holding down the command key, and this is the control key on PCs, and I push the number 2, I'll start having the subdivision. So now it's on 64, 30-second notes, 16th notes, 8th notes, quarter notes, and so on. And then there is the command or control button 3 command, and that switches everything into triplets. You can see it says T now. So this is quarter note triplets, and if I push control 1, we'll have 8th note triplets, again, 16th note triplets. The same idea just with triplets, and I can just toggle that on and off by pushing command or control 3, and that toggles between triplets and non-triplets. Another important one you'll find that you'll probably use a lot is pushing command 4 just to switch off the grid, and that way you can position stuff wherever you want. And then there is command 5 or control 5. This is good if you want to leave it on 30-second notes. Right now, if I zoom in, you can see it stays on 30-second notes, regardless of how far in or out I zoom. But if I push command 5 now, and I do the same thing, keep an eye on this right-hand corner number. Now when I zoom in, you'll see it adjusts automatically depending on how far in I zoom or how far out I zoom. So I like to have that off because I like to determine myself what subdivision I'm using. So in this case, let's zoom back out, or zoom back into 1 bar length. And now our sound was this one. And I was thinking of, let me push play. There's a snare on this beat, on beat 4. So I want to use this sound and play some 30-second notes leading into that snare. So let me see where it is again. Here we go. So I'm just going to put 4 30-second notes. And let's push play again. Now, one thing you'll find is they're all exactly the same velocity or volume. And I don't want that. I want it to sort of fade in. I want it to go boom, dum, ba, dum, dum, ba, if you know what I mean, just to sort of crescendo in like that. For those of you that are wondering what these little red bars are, they are velocity bars. And these are great. I use them all the time when editing. And these just let you adjust the velocity of each of the notes. So you can see if I hover over this little circle right here, up at the top, you'll see there's a number. It says 100. And you'll see the same here is 101, 101, 101. And that is the velocity. And the velocity goes from 1 to 127, which is a typical MIDI thing. And we can move between velocities here. And you can see the way this sound is set up is depending on how the velocity is, it actually changes the sound. It sounds like there's some sort of filter on depending on what the velocity is. So let's bring this first one down to 14. Second one up a little. And the third one, and we'll take this one down as well because we don't want it to be as loud as the main snare on beat 4. So let's see how this sounds. Okay, that sounds a little better. I don't actually know if it's getting any quieter. It's just the sound is changing depending on the velocity. So let's try it a little quieter. Okay, just to not overcomplicate things, let's leave it at that for the moment. And let's see what else we can do. Let's maybe add a couple more here. I'm going to adjust this to 16th notes. Now I just want 2 16th notes here. And we'll select both of those and just take them down. And then here, let's put in some triplets just for the fun of it. And I think I want 8th note triplets. So I need to push, this is on 16th notes. I need to push Command 2 to bring it to 8th notes and Command 3 to bring it to triplets. And let's put these leading up to this snare right here. See how this sounds. Okay, now I think I want 16th notes all the way through this with changing velocities to make it all sound all weird. Now, because I want to just put in 16th notes throughout bar 4, there's a nice little shortcut for doing that. So let's make sure that we have this on 16th notes. So that means I have to push Command 3 to get it off triplets and Command 1 to get it to 16th notes. And then I'm just going to click in the first one here. And now I'm going to push Command D and you'll see it duplicating within the grid. And I'll just fill this up like so. And now I'll show you another quick trick, which is also good to know. Up here in the top right hand corner, we have the draw mode switch. If I push this, now I can draw in different velocities just with my mouse. So let me just do something like, first of all, I just need to deselect this one like so. And now let me switch it back on again. And now I can just draw over this. So now you can see I've got all different velocities. And remember, with this particular sound, the velocity changes the way the sound sounds. That's why I'm doing this. So let's see how this is. Cool. Now, that sound is too loud for me right now. So I just push play so I can see where it is. So it's this snare sound. All I have to do is go in to the impulse, make sure to click on the correct cell, and I'm just going to turn it down a little. In here I can actually see this slider is up 58% and velocity. So that's why the velocity is having an effect on the filter. That's that changing sound depending on the velocity, which is happening because of this. So anyway, that's a nice little pattern. Maybe we'll see if we can add any other sounds. Put this on the 2 and I think that just was. And now that I'm on draw mode, I can just click once in here and that will happen. So let's see. Oh, this is the same thing as changing the pitch depending on velocity. So do bap boom. Let's put this on. Cool. See what happens if we put a bass drum at the beginning here. I think that's too much. Let's get rid of that. I just undid it. Command Z or Z undoes stuff. That's also a very important command I don't think I've actually mentioned yet because we haven't had to undo stuff. So Command Z on your keyboard undoes stuff, and you can also go up to Edit and Undo. Very, very important to know how to undo stuff because we make mistakes all the time. All right, let's just listen to the intro part and then the verse. All right, that's still all very loud, I feel. Let's just listen back again. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go into the overall volume. Just turn that down a few dB. Turn it down a little more. Okay, let's leave it at that and move on. So I'm going to switch off the clips in this track and put on the chorus beat. Oh yeah, I remember. Double click and create a new clip over here. Okay, I think I'm going to add a hi-hat on the and. Let's just leave this at 1 bar. Here we go. Oh, I need to push play. Let's just push play over here on the scene. Okay, that sounds cool. Yeah, let's not overdo it. Just that hi-hat on the offbeat sounds cool. Let's stop this track again. Push play on the breakdown. Let's create a clip. Okay, let me just put something on the and here. That's the second and fourth. Again on the and. See how this sounds. I think we'll double the length here. So let's click on this button right here, duplicate loop. And you'll see what it's done is it's created the same loop again. This is also a really, really handy tool because now I can go in and make some adjustments in the second bar and I don't have to reprogram everything. So let's play it back. And I think here I want to have 30-second notes. So I'm going to push Command 1. Oh, I need to click in here. Let me just switch off the the draw mode, click in here, and I'm just going to change this to 30-second notes. And again, I'm just going to click in there once and push Command D to duplicate each of these notes. And I'm going to put the draw button back on again by pushing B on my keyboard. And you can see that just switched it on up here. Actually, let me switch it off again. Deselect. This one was selected, so it doesn't work. I have to deselect it, push B again. And now I think I'm just going to do this slant like that. So let's see how this sounds. That's cool. Actually, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to double this loop again. And the second time round, let me just switch off draw mode, select these last ones, get rid of them. I'm going to zoom in, switch this on to 16th notes. And I just want 16th notes in here. So it's going to go da 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 da. And I'll do it the opposite way around. So let me switch on draw mode by pushing B. Made the same mistake. Let me just click off, push B, and just take these down successively. So let's see how this sounds. Yeah, I like it. And now let's just do the outro. Double click in here, create a new clip. I don't even know if we need anything, to be honest, but let's just see, for fun's sake, let's just fill it up. Yeah, let's maybe do that 1 and 2, and so we need the grid to be on 8th notes. Here we go. And how long is this? 4 bars. So I want to put this on 4 bars as well. Click in length, push 4, enter. And on the 4th bar, I want beat 3 and beat 4 to have this on the 8th notes. So let's see how that sounds. Oh, I need to push play. Bar 2, 3, and here it comes. Oh, let me change the velocities. Let me go into draw mode. Let's make this one. See how this sounds. Oh, that actually affects the volume. So let's maybe do a crescendo. Okay. I feel like there was something else I was hearing in my head. I think on bar 2, beat 4. Yeah, I feel like I heard this snare in my head on beat 4 of bar 2, but the snare needs to be longer. So let's just go in here. This is snare, the second snare, right? Let me see. Yes. Snare B. So what happens if I stretch it? It's not that much longer. The decay maybe. Well, that's more like it. So let's see how this sounds. And the challenge for this tutorial is that you also create parts, and they don't have to be percussion parts. You can, use any sounds that you like, drum sounds, percussion sounds, or any other samples that you have flying around that you want to use, and create parts for each of the drum parts. Create a relative part that you program using just your mouse, just to practice what it feels like. Experiment, go in and change up the subdivisions like I showed you. Maybe put some triplets in, some 16th notes, some 32nd note triplets. Just go crazy. Let your imagination run free. It's all about experimenting and experiencing how it works, because that's what's going to help you understand and learn it better. I will see you in the next tutorial, where I'm just going to give those of you who are having difficulty right now programming or even finger drumming parts in, and you just want to start to use the software and hope to get better at that stuff later, I'm going to show you how to use loops to just get you into Ableton so you can start making music quickly.